Cortical Labs released something called CL1 in March. It's the world's first code-deployable biological computer. Scientists managed to stick human brain cells in a computer, and now it's doing things that are insane. This technology has completely changed the way I think about AI. It's not just about fun chatbots like ChatGPT. AI can do so much more, and that's what I'll be digging into in this video. CL1 isn't like the laptops or phones we use every day with just metal chips and wires. Cortical Labs, a team out of Australia, kicked things off with the CL1 on March 2nd, 2025, at a huge tech show in Barcelona. They've packed about 800,000 human brain cells into this thing, and it's not some random experiment anymore. It's a real product you can buy. These brain cells are neurons, the little workers in our heads that send signals to let us think or move our hands. They don't grab them from people, though. They grow them in a lab from stem cells, which are cells you can turn into anything, like skin or blood or, here, neurons. They start with donated blood or skin samples, tweak them back into stem cells, and then grow them into brain cells over a few weeks. Those neurons go onto a silicon chip, the same kind of base regular computers use, but this one's got 59 tiny metal dots called electrodes. These dots send out electrical signals to the neurons and catch the signals coming back, linking the cells to the machine. The CL1 itself is about the size of a shoebox, and most of that space is for keeping the neurons alive. It's got pumps pushing nutrients to the cells, filters pulling out waste, and a gas mixer giving them oxygen and carbon dioxide to breathe. The cells can last up to 6 months in there, which is pretty long for something living outside a body. The CL1 comes with software called the Biological Intelligence Operating System, or BIOS, and that's where it gets interesting. This software sets up a little digital playground for the neurons. It sends signals through those 59 electrodes to tell the neurons what's going on, like where a ball is bouncing or what job they need to tackle. The neurons send signals back, and those signals change the playground. It's a constant loop where the neurons figure things out. If they nail a task, like hitting a target, they get a nice clear signal as a pat on the back. If they miss, they get a jumbled signal that throws them off, so they tweak what they're doing to avoid it. Cortical Labs tested this idea years ago with a setup called Dish Brain, teaching 800,000 neurons to play Pong, that old paddle and ball game. The CL1 builds on that. It's steadier with a flat electrode design that keeps signals even, and it's got a Python API, which is a tool letting anyone send their own code to the neurons. You can hook it up to a laptop and tell it to do all sorts of things, not just play games, which makes it far more open than their older systems. This learning trick is why I can't stop thinking about the CL1. Regular AI, like what runs ChatGPT, needs a mountain of examples to learn anything. If I wanted it to know a dog when it sees one, I'd have to show it thousands of dog pictures, and it might take days or weeks to get it down, all while chewing through power on big machines. The CL1's neurons don't work like that. In that Pong test, those 800,000 cells had it figured out in 5 minutes flat. They don't need me to spoon-feed them data. They just connect up and adjust as they go, kind of like how I learned to ride a bike by falling a few times and getting back on. It's fast because they're alive and working together naturally, not waiting for a computer to crunch numbers. Energy is another part that's hard to wrap my head around. Normal AI setups are power hogs. They've got rows of computer parts that can use as much electricity as a bunch of houses running all day just to teach one system something new. My brain, though, gets by on about 20 watts, less than a little light bulb, and it's handling everything I do right now. The CL1 takes after that. A rack of 30 units pulls between 850 and 1,000 watts total. That's about what my microwave uses, not a whole computer room. Plus, it's all in one box. The neurons, chip, software, and life support fit together with a screen to watch what's happening. It's got USB ports too, so you can plug in a camera or sensor if you want to mess around with it more. So, what can the CL1 do out in the world? One place it could really help is medicine, like finding new drugs or understanding diseases. Right now, people test drugs on animals or flat cell layers in a dish, but those don't act like a real human brain. That's why so many drugs tank when they get to people. The CL1 gives scientists living human neurons to play with. They can drop a drug on them and see what happens right then. Maybe it calms them down for epilepsy or perks them up for Alzheimer's. It could make tests truer to life and cut down on animal use, speeding up life-improving or even life-saving treatments. Since these neurons come from stem cells, they could be grown from my own cells. Doctors could make a batch of my brain cells, test drugs on them, and figure out what works for me, not just anyone. That's medicine that's all about the person, not a one-size-fits-all deal. Robotics could get a boost too. Most robots I've seen follow strict rules or learn from huge data piles, but they freeze up when something unexpected pops up. A robot with the CL1 could keep learning on the fly. The neurons would shift based on what's around, picking up new tasks without someone rewriting the whole program. A robot arm in a factory might learn to grab a new tool, or a car could swerve around something weird on the road. It's not about ditching regular code, but adding a living piece that adjusts like we do when things change. You can actually buy this now. Cortical Labs started selling the CL1 in March 2025 for about $35,000. That's a lot for me to personally spend on a casual Tuesday, but for such powerful tech, it's pretty cheap. They're taking orders with units shipping out around June 2025. If I don't want to buy one, they've got a cloud option. They're setting up racks with 30 units linked together, and I can pay to use them online. Cortical Labs wants 4 racks ready by the end of 2025, so more people, not just big labs, can jump in and try new things. They call it wetware as a service, which is just a fancy way of saying I'm renting time on their brain cell machines over the internet. This does make me think about some big questions. People ask if these neurons can think or feel anything. They don't right now. They're not a full brain with ideas or emotions. They're grown to handle signals, not to know they're there. Still, using human cells in a machine feels a little too human. Could a massive network start acting more like a brain? That's something to watch down the road. Personally, I find the CL1 fascinating, but a little creepy. It's something to watch out for. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.